Is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tashan Tyson, in with your Rear Image News package for today, Thursday, May 9th, 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, government introduces Cannabis Bill 2019, and NEVLEC working to improve stability of the electricity supply of Nevis. Regionally, TNT senator resigns and says corruption charges malicious. Internationally, BBC fires man over royal baby chimp tweet. And in sports, Trinbago Knight Riders sign Karen Pollard for 2019 CPL. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. The Team Unity government introduced the Cannabis Bill 2019 today, May 9th, during a sitting of the National Assembly, which will provide the legal framework in relation to use of marijuana in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Cannabis Bill 2019 seeks to provide for the regulation and control of cannabis for religious use by documented members of registered religious organizations to uphold the constitutional rights afforded to each citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. It also seeks to establish the St. Christopher and Nevis Medicinal Cannabis Authority, whose functions will be described herein, to authorize medicinal and alternative health practitioners to recommend medicinal cannabis, to establish scientific research protocol for medicinal cannabis, and to establish a licensing structure and complete tracking system for medicinal cannabis businesses. Medical cannabis means cannabis that is grown and sold pursuant to this act and does include seeds and immature plants and includes all parts of the plant. This also comes on the heels of the National Marijuana Commission's recommendations, which were presented to Cabinet. The Commission was established by the Team Unity government to facilitate national engagement surrounding the use of marijuana. The Nevis Electricity Company Limited, NEVLEC, continues in its efforts to improve the electrical supply here on the island. As part of the company's strategy to restore reliability and sustainability to the island's grid, maintenance work will be undertaken on generators at the power plant station during the period May 15th to June 3rd, 2019. According to a release from the company, there may be interruptions of the service to designated areas during this period to have a more stabilized electrical supply in place. Transition and Distribution Manager at NEVLEC, Mr. Ian Ward, in speaking to the VON Newsline, explained what will be taking place during the maintenance process.
It's a possible load shedding. Generation has indicated that they have capacity to do the maintenance and also to run the island, but we're taking precautionary measures in the event that while doing the work, we lose another engine. So that schedule would basically be implemented if that case arises. But if they do their maintenance without any issues, then there'll be no interruptions to the service. What we will do is that we'll now have all our major sets fully maintained and operational going forward.
Transition and Distribution Manager at NEVLEC, Mr. Ian Ward. On September 12, 2017, a 3.85 megawatt Wartilla generator to be used as a new base load generator for the island of Nevis was installed at the Prospect Power Station. The installation of this new generator came 16 years after the first Wartilla generator was installed in 2001 and ended months of frequent power outages here on the island. St. Kitts and Nevis continues to build and strengthen its relation with diplomatic allies around the world. Premier of Nevis and Foreign Affairs and Aviation Minister in the federal government, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is currently in the Republic of China, Taiwan, continuing his robust diplomatic engagements to strengthen even further the close bond of friendship between the two nations. Minister Brantley today, Thursday 9th May, met with his Taiwanese counterpart, His Excellency Dr. Joseph Wu, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During the meeting, Minister Brantley reiterated the Federation's commitment to continuing the advocacy for Taiwan's participation as a valued member of the international community. The Foreign Affairs Minister also used the opportunity to highlight important areas for further cooperation, including increasing the number of scholarships for students in St. Kitts and Nevis, infrastructural development, and economic opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. In his response, Foreign Minister Wu expressed deep appreciation not only on the government but also the people of Taiwan for the staunch support of St. Kitts and Nevis globally, and explained Taiwan's commitment to continue to lend support towards the Federation's social and economic development. Police are investigating a report of an aircraft that landed at the RLB International Airport in St. Kitts with suspected items. Unconfirmed reports suggest that the items are cannabis plants. Police have said thus far that they are investigating the circumstances surrounding this matter, but did not confirm that the items were cannabis. The VON Newsline contacted the police earlier today, who stated that there are no further details about the incident at this time. Details remain sketchy, but the VON Newsline will provide more on this story as it develops. One man has been charged by a law enforcement authority here in St. Kitts and Nevis for not adhering to the laws of the land. According to a police communique, 24-year-old Jamal Slack of Upper Fines Avenue was arrested and charged on May 7th for the offense of inflicting grievous bodily harm. The incident for which Slack is being charged took place on May 3rd, 2019 on Central Street, Bastille. Nevis continues to celebrate Agriculture Awareness Month during the month of May. The observance, which is into its 7th year, is being held under the theme, Think Climate Smart for Food and Nutrition Security and Sustainability. As the awareness continues here on the island, the Department of Agriculture remains steadfast in its efforts to sensitize the people of Nevis about the importance of the theme. The department has embarked on a new initiative where their aim is to plant some 500 food trees throughout the island of Nevis. Minister with responsibility for the Ministry of Agriculture, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, speaking on Wednesday evening's edition of the On the Mark program, gave a detailed outline of the project.
We are hoping that at least 500 households here on the island of Nevis, or owners of properties here on the island of Nevis, will get at least a fruit tree to plant in their backyard. We are going to be concentrating as well on those affordable income housing development as well, because those areas in most cases are pretty sparse in terms of trees, and we know the importance of trees.
Meanwhile, Director in the Department of Agriculture, Mr. Randy Elliott, who was also one of the guests on the show, used the opportunity to point out some of the activities his department has undertaken to ensure the implementation of buying local and eating local.
We have also embarked on a drive in terms of establishing planting and bananas around the island. As I said, we want our people to eat local, and you don't necessarily have to be a farmer to get into these crops. Persons with a small plot of land, even 5,000 square feet of land, even planting 2 banana trees, it goes a long way. It could go in terms of not just food for you, but some additional source of income for your household also. So the public who is listening, we just encourage you to eat local, support local.
Mr. Randy Elliott. Based on information from the Ministry of Human Resources in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, the Organization of American States, OAS, will host a partnerships program for education and training. As such, institutions such as the Colorado State University, the University of Technology Jamaica, and the Western Kentucky University are offering higher education scholarships in the following areas: human rights, gender and conflict studies, social policy for development, agrarian, food and environmental studies, business management, journalism and broadcasting, engineering and computer science, etc. According to a release from the ministry, some deadlines are as early as May 15, 2019, and each partnership proposes a different deadline as well as scholarship benefits. And finally, scholarship opportunities are being offered once again here on Nevis. According to a release from the Ministry of Human Resources in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, the Embassy of the Republic of Chile is inviting interested persons to apply for Diploma in Teaching Methodologies of Spanish Scholarship. Participants will be afforded a solid theoretical and practical basis on the current methodologies of teaching Spanish as a second language. The program will commence on Monday, July 29, 2019, for a duration of 35 days. Interested persons must apply before June 7, 2019. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Out of Trinidad. The lawyer who has been charged with corruption alongside former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan has stepped down from his position as opposition senator, saying that he does not want to hurt his party's chances in the next elections. However, Gerald Ramdeen is adamant that he is innocent of the allegations leveled against him. It is alleged that the two conspired with Queen's Counsel Vincent Nelson for Ramlogan to misbehave in public office by accepting sums of money from Nelson for granting him state briefs, conspired for Ramdeen to receive, conceal, and transfer criminal property which represented corrupt rewards given to Ramlogan by Nelson for the state briefs, and conspired for Nelson to give 10% of the paid legal fees to Ramlogan as a gift or reward for being granted those state briefs. The offences occurred on various dates between October 1st, 2010 and September 9th, 2015. He submitted his resignation to opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesar on Monday, the same day he appeared in court with Ramlogan on charges related to a legal fees kickback scheme during the Attorney General's 2010 to 2015 tenure under the previous administration. Ramlogan is out on a $1.2 million Trinidad and Tobago bail, while Ramdeen was released on a $1.5 million Trinidad and Tobago bail. Out of Dominica. Lahassan Javid Pascal has pleaded guilty to the 2013 murder of his grandmother in Marigot Flora Pascal, 82, was found by her son in an unconscious state and bleeding from wounds to her head at her home around 2 p.m. on April 7, 2013. She was taken to Marigot Hospital, where she was treated and then transferred to the Princess Margaret Hospital, PMH, where she was admitted to the Intensive Care Unit, ICU. Lahassan Javid Pascal, then aged 17, was arrested and charged with grievous bodily harm. However, the charge was changed to murder after Flora Pascal died on April 22, 2013, at the ICU of the PMH. Sentencing is set for June 14, 2019. Meantime, out of the British Virgin Islands, the territory is projected to generate a number in the region of $500,000 in revenue for the Buju Banton Long Walk to Freedom show set for next month. That's according to Deputy Director of the BVI Tourist Board, Rodney Skelton. He gave that projection on Wednesday, May 8th, and stated that the event will present a great opportunity for the territory. The Tourist Board Deputy Director added that the time period for which the concert is scheduled for is on the shoulder of the BVI's tourism season. The deputy of Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido has been detained by the country's intelligence services. Edgar Zambrano, vice president of the National Assembly, refused to leave his car when approached, and as a result, he and his car were towed to prison. It is the first arrest of a senior opposition figure since attempts to spark a military rebellion against President Nicolas Maduro last week. Mr. Guaido is recognized as interim president by more than 50 nations. The Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, has approved a multi-million-dollar special grant facility to support operations that help countries in Latin America and the Caribbean integrate migrants into local communities and contribute to their development. It said the initiative is in response to unprecedented and sudden intra-regional migration flows impacting countries in the region. Special advisor at the IDB, Anthony Estivedero, who coordinates the initiative, said it will help local and national governments implement comprehensive development programs that facilitate the social integration of migrants into communities so that they can actively contribute to their overall well-being. Additionally, the IDB said it will use the grant facility in combination with economic and social development loan operations to help receiving countries provide better access to health, education, housing, security, and other services in communities struggling to integrate new arrivals. Under the initiative, which was approved by the Board of Governors on Tuesday, the IDB said it will provide $100 million from its facility, with additional resources expected to be provided by the donor community. And finally, out of the Cayman Islands, Tourism Minister Moses Kirkconnell has denied that the government has entered into any premature deals with contractors bidding on the controversial cruise berthing development in Georgetown. As speculation mounted in recent weeks, the ministry has already given the nod to China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, to take on the proposed project. The minister said the rumors were completely untrue, as he asked the public to ignore the claims. The minister stated that in November, 3 bidders were invited by government to prepare and submit final tenders to design, build, finance, and maintain the project, and the procurement was in the final stages. Only when all of the bids have been received and evaluated will the successful bidder be selected and announced. However, it is widely believed as a result of leaks that only CHEC and the local consortium known as Verdant Isle remaining in the running after the 3rd bidder pulled out of the process. That's it for the regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back. Now the international news in detail. The BBC has sacked Danny Baker, saying he showed a serious error of judgment over his tweet about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's baby. The tweet, which he later deleted but which has been circulated on social media, showed an image of a couple holding hands with a chimpanzee dressed in clothes with the caption, "Royal baby leaves hospital." The BBC 5 Live presenter was accused of mocking the Duchess's racial heritage. Baker claimed it was a stupid gag. The 61-year-old presented at a Saturday morning show on the network. The corporation said Baker's tweet goes against the values as we as a station aim to embody. It added, "Danny's a brilliant broadcaster but will no longer be presenting a weekly show with us." Pope Francis has made it mandatory for Roman Catholic clergy to report cases of clerical sexual abuse and cover-ups to the church. In an apostolic letter, which is set to become church law, he makes clear that any sexual advance involved in the use of power will now be considered abusive. The clarification is being seen as a message to the church hierarchy that no one will be exempt from scrutiny. The Pope promised in February to take concrete action to tackle abuse. The new apostolic letter makes clear that clerics should also follow state law and meet the obligations to report any abuse to the competent civil authorities. A fresh war of words has broken out between Washington and Beijing hours before punishing new tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods came into effect. President Trump claimed China broke an agreement close to its signature. Reports say the Chinese side did make significant changes to the draft, but the Commerce Ministry spokesman Gao Feng denied this and said Beijing would welcome more talks.
China hopes the United States will meet China halfway and resolve problems through dialogue rather than unilateral steps. In the meantime, China is fully prepared, determined and capable of defending its legal rights.
North Korea has test-fired 2 short-range missiles hours after the U.S. envoy to Pyongyang arrived in Seoul for talks about breaking the deadlock. South Korea's military says the missiles flew hundreds of kilometers over the Korean mainland. The BBC's Laura Baker reports.
The launches should perhaps come as no surprise. North Korean state media has repeatedly shown its frustration with recent joint US and South Korean military exercises. Pyongyang has also warned Washington that its patience to do a deal involving the easing of sanctions will only last so long before it will decide to take what Kim Jong-un has described as a new path.
And finally, President Trump has said the losses his business made in the 80s and 90s were for tax purposes. He was tweeting in reply to a New York Times NYT article claiming that from 1985 to 1995, he made losses of over $1 billion. The newspaper said that Mr. Trump's property empire from 1985 continued to lose money every year, totaling $1.7 billion in losses for the decade. The NYT said that while Mr. Trump has always described himself as a successful property tycoon, he was for at least a decade during the 80s and 90s, making huge losses on his core businesses, largely casinos, hotels, and retail space in apartment buildings. It wrote, "Year after year, Mr. Trump appears to have lost more money than nearly any other individual American taxpayer." That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
The month of May is the month of change, and it is time to revolutionize the way you copy, scan, and print with a new Canon printer from the TDC Business Center and City Drugstore Nevis Limited. Trade in your old printer and get 25% off a brand new Canon printer in any model and 15% off each Canon printer ink you buy. Plus, enjoy specials on selected models that'll have you saving even more. May is Canon month. Visit the TDC Business Center and City Drugstore Nevis Limited for more details.
Welcome back, and other sports in detail. In cricket, Trinbago Knight Riders announced today that they have signed Kieron Pollard as their marquee player for the 2019 Hero Caribbean Premier League (CPL). The event is scheduled for September 4th to October 12th, 2019. The Trinidadian all-rounder who played for the Barbados Tridents from 2013 to 2017 and for St. Lucia Stars in 2018 will be playing for his home franchise for the first time in his Hero CPL career in 2019. Pollard will be hoping to help TKR add to the 3 championships they have won in the last 4 tournaments in 2015, 2017 and 2018. Pollard has played in 474 T20 matches, so brings a vast amount of experience to the Knight Riders squad for CPL and from tournaments around the world. The rest of the Trinbago Knight Riders squad will be decided at the Hero CPL Playoffs draft, which takes place on May 22nd, 2019. Still in cricket. Australian cricketers' behaviour has improved after attempts to clean up the game following the ball tampering scandal, says Cricket Australia. The men's national team had no conduct sightings during the 2018-2019 season, the first clean slate in 7 years, and charges at all levels dropped 74%. Cricketers Steve Smith, David Warner, and Cameron Bancroft were all banned for ball tampering last season. CA Chairman Earl Eddins said the improvement shows meaningful change. And finally, in basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks became the first team to reach the NBA's Eastern Conference Final as they earned a 4-1 series victory over the Boston Celtics. Giannis Antetokounmpo top scored with 20 points as the Bucks won 116-91 on Wednesday to make the Final Four for the first time since 2001. They face the winner of the Toronto Raptors versus the Philadelphia 76ers, with the Raptors currently holding a 3-2 lead. That's it for sports. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. And now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief passing shower. Weather tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a brief morning showers, with shower activity decreasing by tomorrow afternoon. Winds are east to southeast at average speeds between 6 to 14 knots or 15 to 26 kilometers per hour. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:41 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Thursday, May 9th, 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, government introduces Cannabis Bill 2019. And NEVLEC working to improve stability of the electricity supply on Nevis. Regionally, TNT senator resigns and says corruption charges malicious. Internationally, BBC fires man over royal baby chimp tweet. And in sports, Trinbago Knight Riders signs Kieron Pollard for 2019 CPL. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashon Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.